First Baptist Church of Orange Park was founded in 1921. Suffice to say, much has changed in Orange Park, Clay County, and the world since then. Though much has changed in the world, our mission remains the same. We are a church intent on fulfilling that mission and are strategically engaged in our community through partnerships with local schools, sports teams, veterans organizations, and more. We are a family equipping church. We invite you to check us out at firstfam.org or join us in person at 1140 Kingsley Avenue, Orange Park, Florida.
SSB at the state championship here at the UNIF Arena. Courtney, Wallace, Latroy strong. We're getting ready for another championship finale. Now, Jacksonville will be taking home a third title from these state championships.
No, absolutely. We're talking about Fleming Island right here, the 5A state championship here, boys. And I tell you what, we've been watching them all season long. Probably did about 12 or 14 games this season. Been impressed with them pretty much the whole season, as well as they've been a top 10 team in the particular North Florida region, and they just continue to play well the whole time. It's difficult to start who you want to talk about, but we'll start with the guards. We got the Robinson boys. We got Bryce and Isaiah. That's kind of where it's going to start because your floor general and Bryce is really how they're going to make their move, but it's really going to be determined by those bookends on the inside. You're talking about Jaleel Hill, and then guess what? The all-powerful Carson Crawford. Right. And that's the one that we really are looking for. If those two guys going to come and show out, guess what? State championship, Fleming Island.
And here's the thing. Carson has been having such a stellar season, even dropping 50 points in a game. He has been dropping double-doubles all season long.
Listen, at the rate he's going, he's definitely going to be a qualifier for the McDonald's Mr. Basketball in the state of Florida when he comes out his senior year, which has been huge. I mean, we saw his games where he is just taking over the whole game, 5 or 6, 7 dunks on one end, and then he's blocking shots and starting the fast break at the same time. We're talking about a kid who's pretty much ready to go play Division I basketball right now and still has a couple years to really prove himself.
Yeah, and I mean, it has been a stellar season for Fleming Island because for, I think, 8, 9, or 10 years they've been hosting the Battle on the Islands, their own championship. They never won it. They won this year. One of the things that we pointed out was that before, like last year, Carson was a lone big man.
Right.
The lone 6-footer on the team. This year he has Jaleel. So it means now that Fleming Island can run both ends of the floor.
That's it. And I talked about this earlier, is that the good thing about Fleming Island, they can win with Jaleel or without Jaleel.
Yep.
So that's huge when you can have a big guy that you can play when you want to, and then also sit him down, and then let Carson just take over. This depends on how the game is calling and how you feel like your team can react to the matchups that's on the floor.
Right. And again, you mentioned it, an all-round team, not dependent on any one or two players, because in the semifinal, they made it a cakewalk where Isaiah Robinson, I mean, Carson stayed at the low post, or he was in the corner, and he's like, just get the ball to me, alley-oop,
right,
because he wanted to slam that thing home. Robinson, a lot of times, just basically ignored him because he was so hot that he had so many options, right? And of course, you mentioned Bryce running the ball. Then you have, we speak of the bench, a very deep bench, when you have kids like Diego Rivera, who's coming off the bench. You have, what's Bryce's look-alike, name slips me, Greenwich.
Greenwich. Yes.
You know, when he comes in there. So, all around, and of course, Ryan Turner. Let's not forget Turner. In the semifinal, he had a hot hands from 3-point range.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Fleming is when you go to the bench, you start the lineup, hey, listen, they're who they are. But you start pulling those guys on the bench, you still get quality performance and output from those guys. And there's about 3 guys on this team that's about 6'2", 6'3", but because they're so athletic, you almost feel like they're 6'5", 6'6", going along with Carson and Jaleel at the same time. So guess what? This, like we said earlier, this is Fleming Island State Championship to lose. All they got to do is go out there, play their game, put the ball in the basket, and go from there. Listen, we're not going to say anything from Pembroke Pine starter. They're 21-6. They played a very good season. But I tell you what, the fact that we watched Fleming, we're a little bit biased, and I really feel like we can take control of this if Fleming goes and plays their game. It won't be a cakewalk. It's going to be a barn burner, but they have to be able to finish at the end, which we've watched 2 games prior to this, and guess what? The team that was leading imploded and fell apart at the end, and the other team ended up winning.
And you know, that's one of my pet peeves. You gotta protect the ball. You gotta get the ball in the basket. That's how you win basketball games. You know, needless turnovers, or you know, the needless 3-point shot. Go for the high percentage. 2 points at a time. Security in the game.
That's it. The head-to-head matchup looks pretty interesting because Fleming still has the edge in that because they have 4 guys that's averaging double figures and 2 other guys that's right behind them, right at 9 and 8 points, where Pembroke Pines only has 3 guys in double figures, and their next guy is almost like 6 or 5 points. So you look at the double-double situations with Carson. Guess what? Jaleel Hill can go for a double-double if he wants to as well. So this is going to be an interesting game. I'm excited about it. And guess what? We're getting ready to get started.
Yeah, and I tell you what, in the semifinal, you really see this happen. Coach Travis Chandler was able to finish the game with the bench.
Absolutely, which is what you want. Being able to rest those guys.
Exactly. When that happens, you know how dominant you've been.
Yes, you are.
And speaking of Coach Travis, this would be an ideal end to this season because he's had a challenging year, and this would just really make it all worth it.
Most definitely. With his own personal issues that he's dealing with, to be able to cap this season off and get a state championship would be huge for him, his family, the school, the whole nine.
Yeah. And of course, like Latroy said, we're biased. We're from Jacksonville, but Fleming Island is one of our schools. Always treated us well. Eddie,
basketball
always
welcome
so
to the University of North Florida for the 2026
That's it, a little bit biased. We can do it though.
State
All right.
Boys Basketball
Championship
Game,
Let's listen in.
which features senior number 12, Alexander Brown, a 5'11" sophomore number 14, Jackson Long, a 6' junior number 15, Joseph Johnson, 6'1" junior number 21, Aiden Greenwich, a 6'1" sophomore number 24, Damian Hawkins, a 6'2" junior number 25, Agor Mayakosa, and a 6'3" senior number 32, Nate Lowry. Now introducing the reserves for the Pembroke Pines Jaguars. A 6'2" junior number 1, a 6'7" junior number 1, Carson Crawford. A 6' senior number 3, Bryce Robinson. A 6'1" senior number 5, Isaiah Robertson. A 6'4" senior number 10, Ryan Turner. And a 6'10" freshman number 11, Jaleel Hill. The head coach of the Fleming Island Golden Eagles is Travis Chandler. And now introducing the starting lineup for the Pembroke Pines Jaguars. A 6'6" junior wearing 0, Anthony Walcott. A 5'11" junior number 2, Zach Dawson. A 6'2" senior number 3, Roman Hughes. A 5'11" senior number 4, Jacob Torrensfield. And a 6'8" senior number 11, Robert Dusha. The head coach of the Pembroke Pines Jaguars is Dave Roca.
Well, all right, Latroy, this is it.
It's that time to get ready to get started.
For all the marbles.
For all the marbles. And a big ring.
And the big ring.
And the parade.
And the parade.
I tell you what, since the Jackson game, I hadn't seen a very big crowd. But I tell you what, Fleming Island has brought a crowd today.
They brought a crowd.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest crowd I've seen since Jackson.
Yeah.
And kind of tweaked right there with that Bishop Kenny crowd.
Right. Well, I mean, Fleming had a big crowd, what was that, Tuesday?
The first night? Okay.
Yeah, first night, yep.
It seems like they're still piling in too, so they're going to pour it on. So, spoken to us by some basketball analysts earlier, were saying that they felt like Pembroke Pines guard play is better than Fleming Island's guard play. And to make that statement, that's a bold statement because I've always thought that Fleming Island had the best guards in the whole city.
Well, there's one thing for certain. We're about to find out.
We are. Fleming controls the tap with Jaleel Hill.
And that was the first
Quick
mistake
fast
of the
break,
game.
yeah.
Struggling to finish.
Kind of feel like both teams trying to fill themselves out right here. And we talk about Bryce and those careless turnovers.
Right.
I'm so disappointed that they're not playing with the shot clock. At this level of these type of players, they got to be ready for the shot clock here for college.
I agree with you.
And Jaleel Hill.
With the block. And here comes Ryan Turner. And again, Carter Crawford is there. Rock Crawford again. Still fighting.
I'll tell you what, that's big right there. Just to see Carson in there fighting, he's showing that, you know what, I'm the strongest player on the court right now. And I tell you what, I've been watching these games here, and I've noticed that the officials are they're letting a lot of contact happen this year that I hadn't seen when I was at Lakeland for the last 4 or 5 years. Wonder what the change is about. So, but you let contact happen, but you don't have a shot clock. So you're preparing for college in one way, but not the other way.
The other way, yeah. Interesting.
Not good. Carson missed his first free throw, but he needs to see it go through the basket.
Yep.
There it is. All right, Fleming goes full court. This could be a nice matchup up top here.
Right. But also, a fighting Crawford on that previous sequence, a fighting Carter Crawford at the basket. Watch his shot go up, no good.
And that's strange. Pembroke Pine get 3 offensive rebounds there.
And I was just about to give Carson credit for what happened at this end.
Right.
But then right there, he was really sluggish on getting the board.
And I agree, but once again, I'm watching Bryce Robinson, and I'm not happy with his body language. Because a couple of those rebounds he should have had.
Right.
But he's one that normally starts out a little slow and then he gets going.
Yeah, once he gets warm.
This is not a game you get warm, though. You got to start from jump. Like you say, for all the marbles, right?
This is it. There's no redo.
There are no redos. All right, got him a turnover there.
And my thing, this is now where Fleming Island need to take advantage of these.
Absolutely.
You have to.
Capitalize on the turnovers.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, Pembroke Pines comes out and looked like a zone press, but it was not. Just a full court man-to-man.
Full court. Isaiah Robinson, he's going to be a floor general.
That's a good part about Fleming. They got about 3 or 4 floor generals.
Yep. Carson.
Carson, leading scorer, first 3 points of the game.
Yep.
Believe it or not, I think he has 4 rebounds, maybe, from that possession where he got 3 straight.
Oh yeah, that's good, yeah. Loader, good.
Very good defense right there.
Yep. And a good hustle by Turner to trap that one down.
Between 2 players.
Yep.
I know Bryce got to pick his head up and pay attention. They're actually putting 2 people on Carson.
Right.
He has one guy covered and one guy spine.
And he still gets that ball.
Right, and he has to finish that.
Yep. I noticed from the semifinal that Jaleel Hill was a little bit weak in getting those baskets.
Yes.
Missed so many of them.
And the funny part about it is, in those baskets has really nothing to do with strength, just elevation.
Right.
Just get up, you know?
Yep.
You're already tall enough, so elevate above the guy, and then you finish.
Yep.
And he has to foul you because you're so long.
So long, right?
Zach Dawson goes to the line for the Jaguars, shooting 2.
Of course, Pembroke finds their Jaguars.
They are Jaguars,
Might
yeah.
not be the right thing to be in Jacksonville.
I tell you, right? You get some automatic fans there,
Yeah.
right? All right, Jaguars on the board now. Come back out in the press again. This one here is a zone press.
Yep. Easily broken, beaten, but then
Terrible pass there.
needless turnover by Robinson.
And those are the situations where I say Bryce Robinson has to be the man. He
Yep.
has to take control there. He's not going to turn the ball over like that. Should be 5 seconds. Should be 5 seconds.
That was Robinson
Yes, it was.
in the face.
So, coach going to have a conversation with him because right now you see he's pressing too much.
Right.
It should have been an alley-oop. They've done it all season long. Put the ball up in the air, let Carson go get it.
And he's been begging for it.
Correct.
That's gonna be short. Turner with the hustle there, but couldn't hold on to that one.
Right.
One thing I like though, the energy in the game is where it needs. It looks good for a final.
Oh, definitely like a slugfest, and they're trying to fill each other out.
Yep. Isaiah with the board. This is Carson.
Got a skip pass there.
Turner. No good that time.
We got a box out foul here.
Pembroke foul. Number 4, taken. First personal foul, second team foul. Fleming Island.
All right, first sub. And guess who's being subbed? Did I just talk about?
Robinson.
Right, his decision making right now as a coach.
Right.
You're looking at it, you're trying to figure out, hey, this is not what I need right now.
Right.
Let me talk to you. And once
Green
again,
comes in and immediately goes to the basket.
right,
Couldn't get it to fall.
pretty much a gimme that he didn't take care of.
Yep.
Good news is Fleming's a very good defensive team, so they'll get that back.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, you take out a defensive guy, put in a defensive guy.
Yep. Shot come outside. It's good. First three of the game.
Yep. We talk about teams being here, and they're here for a reason.
Yes, sir.
They're not going to lay down.
No, sir. Here's Bryce Robinson.
Great play by him. Now you're going inside, drawing contact with the big man, get him in foul trouble. And basically what I've seen, I haven't seen these subs at this point in time, so I don't think they're very deep.
Right.
Second personal foul, third team foul.
And he gets to the free throw line as well.
Bryce Robinson on the line for the Golden Eagles, shooting 2.
3 minutes, 19 seconds left. Sunshine State Broadcasting.
Very energetic game, but low scoring. Only
Yes.
8 points scored. Make it 9.
Which bodes well for Pembroke Pines because Fleming has missed a bunch of easies.
Right.
I think of at least 4 layups at this point in time and then a wide open 3-point shot. So that this game could be, almost out of the balance.
Yeah. And get the second one to fall.
So we talk about free throws, missed layups.
And the putback is no good. Looking for Crawford. Right idea.
Yes. You know what? Right. And then when they always tell you, throw it where your teammate even can't get it. So throw it in front of him. You don't throw it. Don't put too much air underneath it.
Yep.
But Crawford did a great job of turning defense and making sure they didn't get a steal.
Right. This is Jaleel Hill. Shoots. No good.
Try him out.
And the steal.
Good hustle, Bryce Robinson again.
Puts it up. Somebody can get it.
Richard right there, the opposite glass. And that's knowing your teammate. You knew what he was going to do, so you said, hey, I'm going to go in and make sure. Guess what? Those are easy baskets.
Yes, sir.
Step up.
Great rebound. Great rebound.
Hill.
I think Jaleel wanted to dunk that one.
That's what he's been trying so hard for the semifinals.
That's it. Hey, all he has to do is go to Sports Authority and look at that little section where like the gloves and stuff are, and they had a little squeeze thing, you know? That way he get his hands stronger.
Yeah.
that apparatus goes all the way back to the 80s, you know, Richard Simmons back in the day, you know?
Right.
But it works.
Yes.
I tell you what, Fleming at the free throw line, struggling. They should be in double figures right now. Miss layup, miss free throws.
Yep. He said they only have a 1-point lead.
Yeah.
But guess who comes in?
Diego.
Like I said, he can run the floor. So.
But I tell you what, coach is going to have to really pay attention to this because Diego can come in sometimes and help you. Sometimes he can come in and he hurt you.
Yep.
Especially when you're taking out your floor general.
Right.
Still got 2 minutes on the clock. Sunshine State Broadcasting, 5A Championship, Fleming Island.
Yep.
Pembroke Pines.
We're here. State championships.
University of North Florida has been a great host thus far.
It has.
Has to be a block foul there. And that's the 15 foul. Shooting free throws.
Which have not been doing too well at so far. So.
Right, but they've been getting there.
They've been getting there, for sure. But then this is Carson Crawford. He's pretty good at the
Yeah, right now he's shooting 50% from the first attempt.
You know, with 1:42 to play, Pembroke Pines would feel like, we're
Right.
here.
Yes.
We're in this.
Definitely with the fact that Fleming Island should be up double figures right now. And this goes back, we talk about Carson Crawford. He's a Division I player right now already. And he looks like he's playing in a Division I atmosphere, and he doesn't seem to be rattled at all. He seems like he's ready for it and hungry for the next play.
He is. Plus he's having a stellar season, so, you know, why stop now? Just keep riding the wave.
Once again, still shooting 50% from the free throw line.
Nice reverse, couldn't get it to fall.
Right there, offensive rebound they couldn't control. Giving up a rebound and not a score.
This is Rivera. Hartford getting a little bit more involved in the game. And look at that steal. Indecision. Good defense from Carson.
Defense! They gotta shoot that! They gotta shoot that!
And that should be Fleming Island ball.
So I tell you right now, 44 seconds on the clock with the substitution of Bryce Robinson. He's back in now.
Right.
But Pembroke Pines was up 1 point in that scenario. But he's back in floor general.
And I mean, a very needless turnover. Rivera. Hill goes into to the paint, asking for it. This is Greenwich. Called right travel.
I tell you what, we talked about some players and what they can do for the team, and we also talked about the consistency and inconsistency. Greenwich now has missed a layup. He also missed the offensive rebound, which caused Pembroke Pines to be able to score.
Right.
He got to be able to get in here and take control of what's going on.
Yep.
Yes, he did have the putback, so the plus minus is, he's pretty even right now, but got to keep it going.
And of course, he got called for the travel just now. Not good.
It's going to be on Rivera. First personal foul, second team foul.
Here's another thing that Fleming Island hasn't done well. The Jaguars have been in foul trouble at 5 for a minute now.
Correct.
And they're
not getting fouled.
Yeah.
Right. Not getting to the free throw line.
Foul number 1, Carson Crawford. First personal foul, third team foul.
His first foul.
Zach Dawson goes to the line.
So we go back to what we said about Pembroke Pines. They have to feel like they're winning this game significantly with what's going on right now.
Indeed.
And they have an opportunity to take a lead, which they do.
They do. Up by 1. 8-7.
5 seconds.
Still with a free throw to go. Can't get that one to fall. But again, Fleming Island unable to pull in the board.
At the end of the first quarter,
And I think, Jaleel Hill, he's going to have to step up his rebounding game. Cannot be giving up those
Absolutely.
boards.
Yeah.
Boards. Cannot be.
Because they definitely have the height advantage, and you got to take advantage of it. But the interesting part about it is when we watch all season long, it has never been Jaleel Hill and just Carson. Those other guys have been in there snapping rebounds, from Isaiah Robinson to Turner, Greenwich, so it's a full team effort.
Right.
For the most up-to-date information on FHSAA championships, including the three official statistics for tonight's game, visit FHSAA.com, the official website of the Florida High School Athletic Association.
8-7, and Pembroke Pines, they get a chance to fight another quarter because they held it in there. I'll tell you what, Fleming Island has definitely given us a college-type atmosphere with the pep band and all the cheerleaders, the pep squad, the student section, you name it. I mean, they got it all here tonight.
Yeah. Just a replica of the atmosphere you get when you're at the nest.
At the nest, yeah.
But I think
For all the marbles.
I think what happens here though is where Fleming Island needs to have a big quarter. You have to have a separation quarter. Then you can relax going into the second half.
Agreed.
Because if you keep it this close going into the fourth, you're in trouble.
Well, the interesting part about that is now you look forward to being at home at that point in time.
Right. Rivera with the board. And Alexander Brown is in the game.
And turns the ball over.
Turns the ball over.
Got the Jaguars out in the fast break situation with an easy finish.
Yep.
Brown makes the ball really quickly.
And one would hope that's their first three-pointer.
Right.
That would be a catalyst.
And it's
For the
interesting.
offense.
Remember, Brown's the same guy that apologized for missing free throws.
Yep.
Robert Bouchard.
So I tell you what, both teams have come out firing in this
They
second
have
quarter.
come out firing, but they've allowed the Jaguars' Grissard to get involved.
Yep. This is Crawford using the height. Step back fade. Can't get it to fall.
We talked about playing with Jaleel and without Jaleel, and now we're playing without Jaleel
Yep.
at the start of the second quarter. Kind of going with more of a scrappy lineup here.
I think think coach is probably giving his starters a chance to sit down and look, get their heads into the game.
Could be, you know, because they don't need to rest. And like you said, he was able to play as reserves, you know, at the semis.
No, interesting. You saw how strong Carson was on that rebound.
Right.
That should have been Jalil, right?
That's how Jalil should be playing.
But he wasn't, so Carpenter has taken matters into his own hand.
There's Carson, a great defense.
Running the floor.
Always. And those are the fouls as a coach. You got to be frustrated with it because you got a shot blocker behind you.
Right.
So you should never be fouling below the waist.
Coming in foul, number 5 by Sarah Robinson. First personal, second personal foul, first team foul.
State championship SSB at the UNF Arena. Wallace and Strong.
That's it. The nest away from the nest.
The nest away from the nest.
Even though this is Osprey nest, you know, so I guess, you know,
well, yeah, it's a nest.
Eagle nest, Osprey nest, hey.
You can take over.
It goes back to what I said earlier. Fleming Island should feel like they're at home.
They're at home, yes, sir.
Yeah, I also think coach is trying to find that group that can go out on the floor and kind of make some things happen as well. And that's one thing when you have a very deep bench like they have, you have to figure it out every game almost.
Jalil Hill is back in the game. Floats one up, can't get it to fall.
And that's basically what we've been looking at. A lot of missed shots for Fleming.
Yeah.
Quick pull up.
And then see,
count up for 3.
And you get punished like that.
And great timeout for Fleming because they just don't seem to have it together right now. In front of a home crowd.
Yeah. Just under 3-4 minutes played in the half. As Fleming have gone through a 6-point deficit.
Correct. And what I've noticed is one pass, one shot. Yeah. And as a coach, you really do hate that because in those situations, especially if the other team scored, you do want to make them move a little bit. Right. Make the defense kind of shift. Have to find out where those offensive balls are coming from.
Yeah, the coaching staff, they have work to do.
A lot of work to do, and I tell you what, me personally, I'm throwing away all that substitution BS, and we're just going to get out there and we're going to play basketball. I'm going to put my best players on the court. You know, and I'll be honest with you, sometimes even your best players feel that. It's like, man, this substitution and stuff, yeah, we did it in the regular season, but for all the marbles, man, let's put the best team on the court and see who's the best team.
Just go for it.
Yep. I mean, limit yourself to maybe a 6 or 7 man in rotation.
Right.
Especially when you're down.
And without momentum.
And I will say this, one thing I've noticed a lot with Jalil is he is on the perimeter a lot more than I would like to see.
And that was Alex Brown. You know, he's got to bring the energy to the court.
Yep. He had his hands full today though, because 12 seems like he's ready to go.
Oh yeah. And at his height, yeah, he's gonna throw up 3-pointers all night long. Ryan Turner for 3.
He needed that. Yeah, he needed that. So I tell you what, they snatched Brown up off of Verdarkis, and they put a bigger ball player. And Carson has done this before. Remember, Carson said, "You know what? Hey, I got this guy."
Yep.
Once again, offensive rebound.
And it's up to Carson again.
Yes, and I think what's happening is he's kind of backing up and letting Jalil kind of do stuff. Great play once again from a guy that's ready to go play college ball now.
So I think for Jalil, inexperience, I think, is his Achilles heel right now.
And we've talked about that before. Inexperience is not an excuse when you can go out there with energy. And that's what my problem is, because the plays that are not happening are energy plays. Yeah. Rebounding, block shots, those type of things, you know? Free throws, once again, hurting the Eagles.
Brown comes out.
here we go with this. Here we go with this substitution stuff. You got a guy that scored 5 points and he's giving you very good defense, and now you snatch him out of the game because you got a rotation.
Right.
This is not the game for the rotation stuff. I tell you what, if Fleming loses this game, they can look back at offensive rebounds.
Yep. And they trail right now, 16-22, 3:41 to play in the second.
Sunshine State Broadcasting coming from the 5A State Championship.
Yes, sir.
Now this should be a high-low situation right here.
Right. So like that now, a little bit rushed. You're not playing with a shot clock. You have the ball. Keep setting yourself up. Keep running your sets.
Why not? Right.
Something will come.
Even the sets seem to be a little off kilter.
Yeah. The only good thing that Pembroke Pines made the same mistake at the other end.
Right. Which, you know, free throw line shot sometimes it's not a bad shot at all. I mean, you're in what they call a sweet spot, and it's a good percentage spot too.
Greenwich to Crawford, back to Greenwich, Robinson. Hill. The Turner puts it up.
Wow, they can't get the roll. The story of the first 2 quarters, just not putting the ball in the basket.
Corner 3, no good.
Jaguars called for a push foul. Greenwich was crashing hard to the basket and got pushed in the back.
I think Jaleel Hill needs to look at himself, look at his game.
That and his teammates going to get in his tail.
Right.
You know, because I used to always say this as a coach. At this part of the season, you're no longer a freshman.
Right.
You're into your sophomore year because we play so much basketball and we play a lot of good teams. This way, once you get past 14, 15 games, you're no longer a freshman.
And again, this is the state championship final, the last game of your season.
That's it. You don't have any more.
Exactly.
Your uniform is being put up for a year, win, lose, or draw. Which in basketball is no draw. So. I love it, man. I love to see the diversity in the bands and stuff like that, because these have been notoriously songs that have been played by HBCUs throughout the nation. And guess what? You're starting to see them a little bit everywhere, which is awesome. And they're doing a good job of playing it. It sounds very clear. The tubas are streaming through the arena, you know, so it's great look, great sound.
For some reason, I get the feeling that you love the tubas.
Listen, man, I'm a band geek. I'm telling you, I like all of them, from the trombone to the trumpets, all the way to the tubas, and everybody loves the drum line.
Oh yeah. Gotta have the drum line.
Yes, sir. You know, you gotta love the flutes as well. That Flight of the Bumblebee, you know.
Yes, sir.
All right, so here we go. They're running the offense. See him trying to get some movement going.
You know, I respect anybody who can play Flight of the Bumblebee. I do.
At some point in time, they are going to get number 2 for Pembroke Pines on the whole. Because every time Turner looks to post up.
That's
what Crawford is looking for. That time it was not on cue, or he just wasn't ready for it.
Terrible pass. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. And it goes back to kind of that rush that we keep talking about. It seems to feel like they just rushed a little bit. Had to chuckle a little bit. Heard somebody, one of the fans screaming, three defense of 3 seconds. This is not pros.
Anthony Walcott.
This now is the danger for Fleming Island.
Yes.
Pembroke Pines are piling up the points.
You talked about having a good second quarter, and it didn't happen for Fleming. It happened for.
And look at that. Look at that.
And then he jogs back.
Yeah.
Another offensive rebound. 2 offensive rebounds.
1 minute.
I know what coach's first thing he's going to talk about when he gets to the locker room.
Gotta get the boards. Gotta get the boards. All right. Let's see what Carson does this time.
With the foul, what it called, the devil was foul.
Yeah, that could have been a 3-point.
And he needs some help.
Yep.
He needs some help. 30 seconds left.
6-1 game.
Robert Duchamp.
Crawford. Tries the reverse.
It looks like Fleming has one player on the court right now. It is Crawford.
Yeah.
He's having the rebound. He's having the block shots. He hasn't handled the basketball in the press. And now he's the only one offensively.
13.
And he's going to take the team on his back. But hey, you can't. He's a championship founder. You can't depend on one guy.
And absolutely, because we talked about these 14. The teams are here because they're the best teams from their region.
Indeed.
And Pembroke Pines coming from South Florida, guess what? They have to have played some very good talent as well, because South Florida definitely brings some very good basketball when you start talking about a state championship.
Yes, sir.
When you start looking at the brackets and everything, you're going to always consistently see teams from South Florida and North Florida. And then it's going to be scattered from Tampa, Orlando, over to the Panhandle, and then you get in that Central Florida area as well. And believe it or not, Fleming's actually holding on, only being down 7 points right now. Carson was able to put it together at the free throw line.
Yep.
Had an opportunity there, and even after Grizz tipped the ball, he still was slouching getting to it. Their aggressiveness is just not there. The explosive basketball we're used to seeing. Great defense by Great defense by Rivera. He really put him in a bad situation with also having a shot blocker back there.
Right.
All right, 2.7 seconds left. Need to just throw it long in the banana cut. He got grabbed, no call. And we talk about the freshman, Jaleel Hill. This is where it's opportunity. You should be able to just throw it in to the big guy long and just let him do something with it. Fleming Island they should be thankful walking in only down 6 points right now.
And you're right about that, but they also should be feeling very bad that you're actually walking in 6 points down.
Yes.
From the first quarter, you had the game. You kept missing baskets. You allowed Pembroke Pines to stay in it, and now they're leading you going into the half.
We go back to what we said earlier. This is Fleming Island's game to lose. And right now they're losing it based on things that they normally do well.
Right. But here's the good thing. They have 2 quarters to get it together.
They do.
Halftime break and 2 quarters to get it together.
Well, the good news is that things that they're doing wrong, they can fix. One is intensity, got to pick that up. Yep. Number 2 is stop rushing, stop making the careless mistakes. And then number 3, they got to control the glass as far as letting Pembroke Pines get all the offensive rebounds.
Right.
Because they got 26 points, and guess what? 10 of those points are from offensive rebounds by far.
Indeed.
As well as the free throw line. We talk about their precision from the free throw line.
But also in the first quarter, Fleming Island put on the offense and got Pembroke Pines into foul trouble. Why not try it again in the second half, in the second quarter?
You got to be aggressive
It's
going to the basket.
working
You
for
see
you.
the fouls there. Yes.
It's working for you. Keep doing it.
And then I have to repeat this again. Coach does need to really look at that rotational thing that he got going on, because I felt like he had a couple guys that were in the groove and he pulled them out.
Right. And you know what's interesting is that we see Alexander Brown in the game early.
Yes.
It doesn't normally happen, but like you said, he was producing.
How about I say, the Sun worked out because he scored 5 quick points. Yes, he made one mistake defensively, but guess what? That guy was hot. He was playing well. So there's no reason why I thought he should be pulled out outside of just a rotational thing. But if your coach is trying to find a group, you found somebody that was scoring.
Right. And immediately he does something, you pull him out.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I don't even know if it was the fact that he did anything wrong, because he had scored off of that, but he already had the rotation kind of coming in.
Right, right.
And we talked about Jaleel Hill. He has one thing to do for me, and he's there. Become aggressive on the glass.
That's all.
So you know what? I'm just going to control the glass and let everything happen and come to me.
And you know what? What's worse, he's not also being effective on the offense. He's not scoring. So you're going to be, the tallest guy on the court, you better be on the defensive glass.
Well, I thought he was deferring. I said he kept playing around the perimeter a lot more, because guess what? He could be cutting to the basket as well and make an impact by drawing people in, or finishing at the basket and getting fouled. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah. All right, so that's it. First time is in the books. FHSAA State Championship, Courtney, Wallace, Latroy strong. We're having fun doing this. Fleming Island trailing by 6 at the half, but we expect them to pick up the intensity in the second half of the third quarter. Back with you in a minute.
Definitely. Keep bobbing my head, because Fleming Island's band is putting it down.
Oh yeah, indeed. Eagle Band 1.
I'm a band geek. There I am.
Yeah, Eagle Band 1, that's who they are.
Yes, Eagle Band 1, yes.
Eagle Band
yes.
1, yep. All right, see you in a bit. All right, we're back. State Championship, Class 5A boys final. Fleming Island versus Pembroke Pines, the Eagles versus the Jaguars. And strong, the Eagles, there's no point in having all the tools in your toolkit if you're not using them.
No, absolutely. We talk about the home team, Fleming Island, even though they're considered the visiting team with this game. They got to just go ahead and put it together and play like they've been playing all year long. I mean, yes, granted, give Pembroke Pines credit. Walcott, number 0, the point guard, has definitely done what he needed to. But 2 players, Badarkis and Grishard, have went ahead and put their stamp on the game, mainly in the second quarter. And that's when they really went to go. But Badarkis hit 2 threes, and then Grishard was able to finish on the inside. But it's one simple process to it. And Fleming Island has to do 2 things. Become more aggressive, control the glass, because that's where Pembroke Pines seem to be really finding their footing on the offensive glass.
Right. And speaking of the glass, Fleming Island should ask Andrew Jackson about that. They lost a semifinal at the glass. About 3 or 4 rebounds in a row in one sequence.
And it's funny because the last one that finished them off came from the guy from the free throw line.
Exactly.
All right, Fleming ball, begin the third quarter.
And Isaiah Robinson back on the floor.
Yeah, either him or Turner got to turn it up.
Yep.
And that's what a difference maker is, because your floor general is Bryce, but Turner and Robinson are the 2 who've always been the bookends to help Carson.
Right. Here's Robinson for 3, long. And again, Jaleel Hill not able to hold the board.
Correct.
Matter of fact, I'd love to see Fleming Island set up where the second chance points are taken, but they haven't had any.
And it does, right. And that's something that we normally see as well. They're always heavy on the offensive glass also. So I guess Jaleel's issue is he's going to have to make a commitment to the weight room on the offseason.
Yep.
Carson almost with a steal.
Look at Carson with a hustle.
Yep. And to tell you what, Jaleel is showing a little more aggressiveness, definitely picking up full court man-to-man. Even on the rebound, he got boxed out pretty well, but he did show a lot more aggression.
Right.
If he can keep that up, then guess what? He can do some stuff in the second half for him.
And here is Ryan Turner on defense for Fleming.
Yeah, I like the intensity thus far.
Yep.
They need to make a run.
They do. They need to take this quarter.
Very disappointed with not playing with a shot clock because the defense is so good that not a shot clock also comes in play.
My friend, I'm here thinking the very same thing. I just got real frustrated in my mind just now.
Absolutely.
Not having the shot clock.
Especially how good a defense Fleming just played in that possession.
Yes.
And the interesting thing about it is Fleming plays with a shot clock on a regular basis.
They do.
So if we're looking for improvements for the state tournament for next year, that's the main one for me.
Yep.
Make sure we're playing with a shot clock. Offensive rebound, you just called for one.
Yep.
And guess who it was?
Ryan Turner.
Yep.
Yep.
Still disappointed in the fact that Jaleel Hill is selling for a bunch of outside jump shots.
Yep. Crawford cleans up. Puts up. Can't get it to fall. Almost on the rebound. But that is where he needed help.
Yes.
Somebody should have stepped up.
Right? I didn't see that one, but referee called it, so I guess something happened.
Second personal foul, second team foul.
And you know what? I think Pembroke Pines, they were respecting Fleming Island. You know, like a good boxing match, you respect your opponent early out, then you realize, oh, I don't have to.
I agree. That
So
first,
now you take the
that
fight
first
in.
3-4 minutes, you're
Yeah.
right. Just kind of filling each other out.
Right.
So we got 6 minutes, and Fleming Island already has 3 team fouls.
Foul number 10, Ryan.
That can come to haunt them soon enough.
Third team foul.
And they started the quarter 6 points in the hole. They're
Yes.
still 6 points in the hole.
Yep.
Shot from distance, no good. Crawford.
All right, Fleming on the break.
And you know, you got the foul. Still scored a box.
Yes.
Let me see the ball go through the move.
Second personal foul. First team foul.
Yeah, as a coach, you're sitting there, you're praying for those and one situations, you know, because you got one of your best players gets fouled right there at the basket, should be able to put it in. One free throw, count it, we go back.
Good on the free throw that time. Bryce Robinson.
All right, quick substitution for Pembroke Pines, but Darkus comes in. I tell you, I thought he was a starter, but he wasn't. He comes off the bench.
They got a big bench.
And he's a junior.
Do you know where they're from?
Pembroke Pines, South Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here they come, the Jaguars. Shot from distance, no good.
All right, control the rebound.
Crawford in the paint.
No call, there's Jaleel. That's what we've been asking for, yes.
Use the tools, you've got them.
And that gives them an opportunity to come out in their press as well.
Right.
Which, once again, shot clock not being in place, you know? Jaleel Hill's putting his stamp on this third quarter. If he can continue that, that'll be huge.
Yes, sir. Right.
Sunshine State Broadcasting, yes. So that foul was called on Turner, but he fouled him from the second dribble all the way across the lane. And I think if he had made the shot, referee might have let it go. You know, and that's something the coach needs to have those conversations. Turner, hey man, you got no pushing. You know, referees are calling it. Let's back off a little bit because I need you for the whole game. 5 minutes left, and next foul, they're shooting 2 shots for Pembroke Pines.
And we thought that Fleming Island should be in this position.
The opposite,
Yeah,
yes.
it should be reversed.
Blank trip for the free throw line for Pembroke Pines.
And it's almost nobody wanted the board.
You're seeing the same thing I'm looking at. And I tell you what, you gotta ride the horse. They say sometimes. Jaleel seems to be aggressive. Call something for him. Look to go to him. You know, that's where your floor general has to come in at.
Right.
Go high, low, Carson up top. Jaleel out of the perimeter again. Picked up a quick foul once again, so that's 2 Pembroke Pines, 4 Fleming Island.
Yeah, but you know, that worked out for Jaleel. But again, you're so high, you should be seeing what's around. That pass was an ill-advised pass. You should have seen that.
Yes. Now he's going to the basket. He got him on the heels.
Yep. Oh, Jaleel. Oh.
Jaleel a lot more aggressive.
Hey, they got their butts chewed out. I promise you that.
There you go. That's back in the game. Pastor Crawford.
So what I like about Jaleel there, on one end you made a bad play, you made a point on the other.
And he has to every time.
Well, that time,
Definitely. So definitely speaking to one of the super fans here, she said that coach got on them and they're coming out with a lot more aggression.
yep.
Definitely Jaleel Hill.
You gotta score it though.
Yep. Oh, that's a foul.
You gotta score it.
Hey, Bryce is talking to him right now.
Yep.
Floor general.
Yep.
Which is what he has to do. But we talked about the foul situation. Now Pembroke Pines on an ill-advised foul, 84 feet, now they're shooting free throws.
But I'm happy Scotty's not here.
Yeah.
He'd have had a quit on that one.
Carson Crawford, third personal foul.
He does not like the fouls away from the basket.
That will put Pembroke Pines. Zach
Especially now, because these fouls pay major dividends this last 3 minutes. We talked about how big of a third quarter Fleming needs to have.
Right.
And it's interesting because Pembroke Pines has not done anything overly impressive, but they're winning.
You're so
But they're winning.
Absolutely correct. That's frustrating.
Carson Crawford.
Why are you down for it?
All right, interesting subs.
Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting because I was sitting here just thinking to myself that even though Jaleel is aggressive, he might need to pull him out, put Carson in, and let him run that 5 spot with some more guards and swing men around him. It's almost like you have to beg for him to do that, and he should be doing that at least 10 times a game.
Consistently.
Yes. He's such a great downhill player.
Right.
They have numbers that should be pushing. I have no clue what they got going on.
Again, Jaleel Hill, you got to the ball, you got the ball. Get the ball into the basket.
Won't get back on defense again.
He got it in somehow.
Yes.
Not sure.
You know, it's interesting. It's what I'm starting to see is a team that hasn't been here before.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And it's a little heart-wrenching because we followed them and watched them all season long, and we know this is not them.
And not only that, they're being drawn into the Pembroke Pines game.
Correct. Well, they can't find their own game. Because we talked about Pembroke Pines and the fact that they're not doing anything impressive. They're not doing anything that's just outplaying Fleming. Fleming just doesn't seem to be on the court. I mean, just then they got the steal, and then somebody passed the ball. It just sat there for a minute.
And then when you get the ball and you get on the offensive end, you don't score the basket.
Right. And then the last 3 possessions they played downhill, going up against their big guy inside, just throwing up kind of anything.
Right. And Crawford is back in.
Yeah, had to make a change.
Yeah, so too is Rivera.
And just then I thought they missed Crawford on the inside. It's like, I mean, I don't, like right now, he's there.
Right. And literally begging. Here he goes again.
There's your guy. He has to get it.
But like you said before, consistency. We know you have it. Can we see 10 times a game?
Absolutely.
A quarter.
And then once again, I'm just a little disappointed. Crawford's in there begging for it. He's your number one guy.
Yeah.
He's your number one option, and you guys are not passing the ball to him.
But I told you from the semis, that's exactly what was happening.
Right. But the coach is also not directing it either. He's not saying anything. Hey, he's giving him the ball. He's in there. As well as you get an opportunity to get their big guy in foul trouble, get him sitting down the bench. So when you're playing downhill, you don't have that big guy in there anymore.
Right. And here's the thing. Firestone is high. When he sticks that left hand up, there's nobody that's going to get to him. Pass the ball up there. And here's the other thing about Firestone. He's got legs. He's got spring for knees.
And what I said earlier, he's a Division I ball player right now playing high school basketball. So if he can't do anything with the ball right there in the paint, nobody else can.
Exactly. That guy can elevate 4 or 5 inches off the ground easily.
Correct. And he has a good post game because don't forget, he played the 5 spot all last season.
All last season, yes sir.
And we talked about all the marbles. We're looking at a situation where it is do or die because Fleming has about 5 seniors that are key components to this team.
Yes, sir. Yeah, not a couple of years before you get back here.
Correct.
Carson again.
Got lucky there.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure who that was off of.
You know, but that was his effort, though. All right, here's Rivera.
You're really only down 4 points.
Yeah, they're really.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing about basketball sometimes where it could seem that one team is so far in the ascendancy, but you look at the scoreboard and you're like, well, no, you're not, you're really not there.
And that's what I keep saying about Pembroke Pines. They haven't done anything to pull away. Even when they made the run, it was because of misses.
Yep.
Good teamwork right there.
But here's the thing. Fleming Island needs to realize that.
Yes. Travel. They got the turnover, but they're pressing the issue. Right. They picked up the intensity.
Right. So now you got momentum, you better use it.
That's it. You better keep going.
Yep.
49 seconds left. Sunshine State Broadcasting.
At the state championships.
5A.
I like the ring of that. So now Fleming Island, they need this basket.
One thing I do see, they're not watching the court. Just then they tried to post up Turner, but the double team came and they left Rivera wide open at three-point line and no one saw him.
Right.
So at this point in time, I guess they're going to wait for one shot now.
Yep. 11 seconds. Crawford went in.
To the missile.
So here's what happened. Not for the first time. The
game starts now. We've got a fourth quarter. Whoever wins this quarter wins the game.
Absolutely. I mean, they talk about being the fourth quarter, and you know, I keep going back and a lot of the young and the new basketball players talk about what they have going on, and they do a lot of what they call skill development, right? But even with all that skill development, I'm trying to figure out why no one has a efficient left hand. Just then, Bryce made a fantastic move to the basket, right? But he still had to bring the ball back to his right hand and try to finish that layup. And at that point in time, he brought it back to the defense. Instead, if he had stayed with his left hand, he has a nice left hand finish. And those are the difference between a high school basketball player and a college basketball player.
Not all of that. Staying with the left hand, you know you have a chance of drawing the foul. The defense is out of place.
Right, so guess what? Now you're in a situation where now you're down 2, where you could have been making the basket, shooting free throws to take the lead.
Right.
All right, everybody in the gym got the fours up for the fourth quarter. Fleming Island down 2 points. In the state championship game, 5-8.
You still think it's theirs to lose?
Yes. And they've shown where they can make the run, they just got to hold on to it.
Got to hold on to it.
And now this one's going to come down to Pembroke Pines and coaching. How does he finish this last quarter?
Nobody there for the board again. Crawford.
I don't dislike the shot. I thought it was good. There's Turner again fouling.
You know, the look was there. I don't mind it.
No, I thought it was a good transition play.
I still feel though there are some points in the game where you go for the high percentage. Secure the basket.
Well, in 2026, that is basketball now, right there. You know, so I almost can't even get mad at it anymore because it's taught, trained, the whole nine now. And that is what happens when you allow penetration. Your big has to come over and help out, which leaves their big to be on the rebound stance.
Wide open.
That's got to be a foul. They're a good call.
But finally they throw an alley-oop to him.
Well, it was because he's screaming for the ball. And that wasn't even an alley-oop. It was just a post-entry pass.
Really?
Yeah.
But at least give him something. He's asking for something.
Screaming for it.
Yeah. So Hill comes in, Turner sits.
And see, this is where as a coach you have to go and you call sets for it. You see Carter screaming for it, so why not go high-low?
Yep.
You know, put in a situation where now he's on the post with a position for someone to pass the ball to him specifically. And he has a mismatch because the shorter guy's covering him.
Right. Floats it up, can't get it to fall.
I tell you what, we've been on Jaleel for not rebound as much, but I gave it to 11 for Pembroke Pines. He keeps him off the glass.
Right.
Oh, 10 down 2. Yeah. I don't know if it's because we're elevated up here, but it looks like they're moving real slow. Now I tell you what Fleming has done this third and into the fourth quarter. They've slowed down Darkus. He has not been able to do anything.
Right.
Even right there, great defense.
Yep.
Strong move by Gashard. And one. All right, great opportunity. But you know, fell a little short.
I'm seeing another thing here where there are some shots that they've attempted that on any other given day, those would have gone in. So It's almost like you have a mixture of your luck just not going your way and you're not playing the best sets.
Listen, man, that what we're looking at right there is called the big stage.
Yeah.
And sometimes the big stage, it feels huge.
Yep, it's not kind to you.
Yeah.
That time, gravity was.
He used every part of the rim just then.
Yep.
And once again, we talk about this is Fleming Island game to lose.
Yes, sir.
Pembroke Pines is doing absolutely nothing to dominate this game.
Yep, nothing special.
Even on the last Pembroke Pines possession just then, if Jaleel doesn't open up and open the gate for Grassard, he doesn't get to the basket so easy.
Right.
He needs to get back that intensity he came out the game with. And that should be a steal as well.
I think so.
Yep.
Too much height not to give us a better effort there.
That's a big shot.
That's a huge shot. Fleming needs an answer.
Yeah, he needed that timeout, most definitely.
Tonight's game is the 2026.
At this point, you're not looking like a championship team.
No, what I see a lot of one-on-one basketball out there. At this level, championship game, one-on-one basketball doesn't get it for you. And we talked about when they played with teamwork, they were able to capitalize on it. They've also seen Carson inside the post, wide open, posted up a smaller guy and not taking advantage of it. Numerous times today. They're going to go back and look at this film and they're going to say, you know what? It was all on us. And just then on that transition, I kind of been saying it all game, but I saw Pembroke Pines like a sports car with Fleming Island was looking like an SUV coming down there. The speed was just tremendous. 12 got behind 2 players. One thing I also noticed is Pembroke Pines started the game out as a full-court man-to-man, almost like a press type situation. Well, they backed out of that, and they haven't done that since. Because they realized Fleming Island has the kind of guards and kids that can handle the ball all over the court. So guess what Coach said? You know what? Hey, we'll throw that out. We'll go do something different.
Following the conclusion of tonight's game, we encourage you to stick around and join us as we recognize the players and coaching from both teams.
Alexander Brown gets ready to check in the game, try to bring his team a little spark of energy.
The thing is, I don't think they lack energy, they lack precision.
Like precision, I can see that. And it's funny because Pembroke Pines just had 2 awesome possessions. No, he's up 7 points.
Yep. Well, Fleming, they have 5 minutes to figure it out.
Yeah. And 35 points for Fleming Island is not a good look.
No, it's not.
I said they need to score 60, 70 points to have this win. And they're far from it right now.
But tell me, when a team is used to scoring 70, 80 points and you get here, fourth quarter, you're only at 35, what does that say really?
It says that we're not getting it done. We're not playing our game. Wow. And the interesting part about it is, with 5 minutes left, they can still go on a run and score 20-some points and still be ready to 60. We know they have the weapons.
They do. They do. Here's one of them now. Turn it up.
So you saw the difference there. He went one-on-one, but he used his teammates rather than throw them some kind of crazy layup.
Right.
Interesting call. Quick turnover by Fleming.
And the turnover, ball goes to the Jaguars.
That's great defensive possession by Fleming. They didn't get anything out of it.
Nothing.
What do we call those? Empty what?
Yeah, empty possession. 3-point shot. Yeah.
Jalil made up for it because we're trying to figure out why he wasn't on the glass this game on the 3-point shot. All right, got bailed out of the foul because we talked about going one-on-one, and it wasn't even one-on-one. He went 1-on-3 just then.
Foul number 3, Roman Hughes. Third personal foul, third team foul. That foul puts Fleming Island's Ryan Turner on the line, shooting 2.
I was always known as a hard-nosed coach, you know, and at some point in time, the butt slapping and let's go guy, it has to throw out the window. You got to sometimes grab a jersey and say, hey, man, come on. We got 4 minutes left. Let's go to work.
Yep. That's one good one from Turner.
Go back to that comment I got heard earlier about the guard player, Pembroke Pines. Once again, yes, they're good basketball players, but I hadn't seen anything that just blows me out of the water yet.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know, making shots, they're handling the basketball, but you know, just.
Because I think we can easily say that Fleming Island is self-destructive.
Yeah. But guess what? 3 points. They're still right there in the game.
In for Alexander Brown.
I'm unsure of what Turner mind state is right now. He's got called on the same exact foul 3 times. And I think that's the definition of insanity, right?
Okay. But, you know, like you said, first time championship, an experience. But that's where you want to get into the players' heads. Treat it as a game. It is a game.
Wow, 2 costly turnovers for Fleming.
On a turnover, ball goes to the Jaguars.
And you rarely see that call, so I actually had my head turned, so I really didn't see what happened, but out of bounds violation. So Isaiah Robinson's been down on the bench a long time. Hadn't seen him.
And you'd expect that
I don't know if he's hurt or something like that. Yeah. He's a starter, you know.
Yep.
First play this game, I've seen Pembroke Pines guard do something superb. He caught them trying to switch, and when they were out of position, he went to the basket. Upper level thinking there.
But again, if you're up against an opponent who's
So guess what just happened?
yeah, you took him out.
No, he fouled out.
Oh, he fouled out.
Turner fouled out. 3.
I know Robinson comes back in.
Right.
You were just calling for it.
Those 3 fouls that he did earlier came back to haunt him. Did Fleming lead at any point in time in this game?
They did.
They did early though.
Yeah, early, very early.
all day.
Timeout on the floor.
Here's the thing.
5 points. They're still right here.
They're
I
right
tell you.
here, yep.
I mean, you talk about the 2 unforced turnovers. You know, those opportunities that are squandered.
Yep.
Missed offensive rebounds, giving up for Pembroke Pines again. You know, it's just been a Fleming Island not being there.
Yeah.
Watching the game, it's the reaction time of Jaleel Hill. Most of the time I'm watching, and the guys are getting up on him before he's even reacting. The glass going for rebounds. The ball's up there, and they're already there before he reacting. You know, yes, he's a freshman, but those are energy plays. Watching Carson again, and that play right there, you have to look back at those 5 or 6 possessions when he was posting up and they didn't give him the basketball.
And you know, in a game like this, you got to get your rhythm right from the get-go.
Correct, and they never got a rhythm, at all.
Yeah.
Not one player either.
Yeah.
Oh, except for Brown.
Yes, when he came in, yeah.
Yeah.
And even so, he had some questionable plays, but at least he came in with the energy and he was willing to put the work in.
Oh, always. We've been saying that about him since day one.
Day one, yeah.
Very humble kid as well.
Yeah.
2 minutes, 40 seconds.
There's still something there for Fleming.
Pembroke Pines looking to take the air out of the ball here.
Yep.
Once again, no shot clock at a state championship game. Jaleel Hill, good play. Jump ball possession.
Yep.
Fleming Island.
Substitution of 12, Alexander Brown.
Brown comes back in. Greenwich sits.
All right, right here, it's a very elementary situation right here. Carson posts up, give him the basketball, let him go to work.
Yep.
Float Jaleel on out to the perimeter where he's been, post him up. Now they want to give him the ball on the perimeter. Don't think that's the best decision in this game. Now, right there. That's a bad call. That's terrible. Referee's gonna change it. Great defensive presence by number 11. He stayed home instead of popping out with his man.
And the student section celebrated like they just won the championship.
They just trying to get something to happen.
Yep.
All right, 4 fouls on the Jaguars.
Pembroke foul 0. Anthony Walker, second personal foul or team foul.
Hey, this is when you look at the scoreboard and say, Fleming's only down 5.
Correct.
However, it's still a huge 5.
Right, and
with
the
the time left on the
next
clock.
foul, you go to the free throw line.
Yep. And that's what's going to happen to Jaleel Hill all tournament.
Yes.
All tournament.
Greenwich in for Alexander Brown.
Empty possession.
Yep. 1:54 to play. 5-point game. That's a 3. That's going to be off.
Got a foul. That's what Fleming's game is. We always said that. They need to be on the fast break era.
But you know what I saw? Jaleel Hill had the ball. And he was like, I'm not taking this one.
Listen, that was a super smart play by him because it was a terrible pass by Bryce Robinson to give it to Jaleel that far away from the basket.
Yep.
And he said, you know what? I'm going to give the ball to my man.
Yep, here you go.
And guess what? Carson knows what to do with it. Down 2, minute 30.
Need a turnover.
Robinson with the push.
And you know what? There are 5 fouls on the board for Pembroke Pines.
Yes. Everything now is shooting free throws.
So what that means, Fleming Island should know what to do now.
Okay.
Fleming with 1 to give.
The timeout on the floor is a Pembroke Pines timeout.
That's a deficit that Fleming Island needs to make up. 1:33 on the clock.
Jaleel Hill, Wallace's man. At the free throw line. So, offensive, defensive substitutions, okay? And this is what I mean by this. I'm looking at the game here, and number 11 is able to just camp out in the paint because of Jaleel Hill. Wherever he goes, 11 just kind of sits in the paint and just monitors him. So you sit Jaleel for offense, put an offensive player in, and then get ready to get him back in for defense.
Right.
And that way 11 has to be able to play that guy because of the threat of maybe hitting a 3.
Right.
Diego possibly, or even one of the other guards, you know. But you have to coach that part of it now because it's like playing chess. You got to be able to put the right pieces in the right place at the right time.
Yep. And also keep them thinking, keep their coaching staff thinking.
Yes, because if you got guys that are trying to penetrate and all they doing is being beat up by their man and 11 is just hanging around in there, you got to find a way to get 11 out of there.
Right.
All right, down 3 points.
1 minute to play. 1 minute.
Pembroke Pines, they smell blood.
Yes, they do. They're trying to take the air out of the ball now.
Yep. No shot clock, remember.
No shot clock. Which went right.
They turn it over.
Steal.
1 point.
1 point. Right there.
1 point. That was a momentum shift that they needed. They just now need to score.
Definitely a momentum shift, and I got to go back to the statement about Pembroke Pine's guard play. If your guard play was that good, why is one of your bigs or your swing man up there with the basketball this time of the game? One of those guards should have went and got the ball out of his hand. But they're here, so coach must know him better than I do. All I know is he just turned the ball over.
Yep. Left the door wide open.
Wide open, right. And guess what? With all the worries and all the woes that has gone for Fleming Island right now, they have opportunity to take home a championship.
Yes, sir. Here's your score, 47-48. 37 seconds to play.
So I know the one and only message Pembroke Pines coach said is, hey, you 3 guards, go get the ball. The only thing I can think about in that situation is maybe he shoots a very, very high percentage from the free throw line.
Right.
Got him trapped. Had to call timeout. Great timeout. And if I'm Fleming Island's coach, what I'm saying to them is, you guys that's off of the trap, you gotta play safety like a football player and be ready, because all they keep doing is throwing it up in the air.
Right.
Go get that basketball. What's the worst thing you happen? You go through the offensive player, you foul him, he goes to the free throw line anyway.
Right.
So just go get the basketball when it goes in the air. Because the trap was perfect. Eagle Band to 1, huh?
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, they're awesome. I'm listening to them. They got the whole crowd rocking.
Yes, sir. .3 seconds to play.
Here at the Nest, University of North Florida, host of Florida High School State Championships. Classifications 1 through 7 and rural. Every foul here goes to the free throw line.
Every foul.
About that.
Huh.
I don't know about that.
Fleming Island foul number 1, Carson Crawford, 4th personal foul, 15 foul. That puts Anthony White with a turnover, 2-2.
But after the turnover, maybe in a situation where he's still a little nervous.
Oh no. That's a huge.
Yes, it is.
3-point.
Remember this though, foul quickly for 23 seconds. That was an interesting call there.
Substitution number 12, Alexander Brown.
So Brown comes in for clutch and Robinson sits down. Pembroke Pines in a full court pressure. Going left hand and having to shoot back with the right.
I'm here asking myself, why? Why? You're out of position.
And you need 3 points, and the penetration, you had somebody over there with you. Why not kick the ball out for the 3-point shot? But the momentum has never been with Fleming all game long. They got a miss. They got him a miss. And it's interesting because I believe he subbed in Brown for a 3-point shot.
Right.
He got a free throw, 2 shots here.
Pembroke Pines foul number 12, Alex.
And that was a good foul for Fleming Island. Clock is stopped. Chance to put up 2.
Yeah.
Fleming Island shooting 2.
Brings it to 2 points. Still got 5 seconds.
Yep. Oh no. Yeah, they just wasn't ready for the big stage today.
Yep.
Things that we haven't seen them do all year long. I mean, I'm talking about free throw line. They're probably shooting under 60% from the free throw line, and that's not like a Fleming Island team. Down 3, 5 seconds left.
But again, and I mean, call me a broken record. Take care of the basketball, get the ball through the hoop. Because when you get to this point of the fourth quarter, you look all the way back to the first. Right? For every silly play when you had possession, for every missed basket, it comes back to haunt you right now.
Well, very, very simple said.
Yeah.
When you make those kind of mistakes and you give up a bunch of offensive rebounds, and you're not making shots, all of that is a prescription for not winning the game.
Yeah. It's gonna add up.
Yes, it is.
And like you said, Pembroke Pines haven't done anything special, but what they've done, they've taken advantage of what Fleming Island has not done.
Surely have. And obviously one of their game plans is hit the glass hard, and they have. And they've stayed on that, which is disappointing with the fact that you have a Carson, you have a Jalil, you have a Robinson, you have a Greenwich, you have a Turner, you have those kind of players, and they allow Pembroke Pines to control the glass.
That hurts.
It does.
That hurts.
You know, and the worst part about it is the consolation is that we had a great season. Well,
Right.
you had a great season, but you made it to the championship game.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want to have done is get a championship game and not fulfill your dreams.
Yes, sir.
And as we said earlier, you've got a lot of pieces that are going to be hard to replace for this year.
Yep.
You know, yes, you got Crawford, yes, you got Hill, but there are some seniors that you're going to miss that I've enjoyed covering this season. I think I've had a wonderful time really watching Fleming and look at the players and just kind of going to know them as they are on the basketball court. And now they're going to be gone.
Yeah, I mean, from last season, because I saw a lot of them last season. And this season, I was really looking forward to them in the championship game. And after the semifinal that they played, I was like, yeah, I like the way the team is looking.
No, right, and we've talked about this at the beginning of the season, that this team could go all the way.
Yeah.
We've said it. Carson fouls out. For all of our banter, we missed that part.
All right.
So now it's up to Fleming. Miss and make this free throw. He made that one, down 4.
4 seconds to play.
And that's the way
Pembroke Pines take control.
Jaguars 52, the Fleming Island Golden Eagles 48. The Pembroke Pines Jaguars, your 5A champion.
I saw Pembroke Pines, they were really celebrating with Gassard. Gassard's a senior, so obviously it meant a lot for him.
Right. You know, this is the point when I don't know if I really don't know how much, you know, you look into the game. You leave it at that. For me, I leave the game at that. It wasn't a good game. It was a championship game. But like you said before, Fleming Island, they had a stellar season. They made it to the championship game. I think probably the first in history. They won their own tournament. They won a lot of games. They had a good season. So you want to give them some grace.
But no, you absolutely give them grace if you actually celebrate the season that they have. But for those 15 guys and those coaches, it's a tough situation because you know what? This taste stays in your mouth forever. Long time, forever. What happens is you're 25, 30 years old, and you still feel this loss right here. If you lose in the district championship or something like that, and you don't make it to the finals or regionals, something like that, that's one thing. But to get to this point, get to this big house here, and you know that it wasn't the other team was better than you.
Right.
And that's the one thing.
Yeah, that's
there's some
part of
teams, right?
hurts.
There's some teams in this state championship series we're here that they're just really, really good,
Right.
and they beat some teams badly. Those teams go home and say, you know what, we made it here and we lost to a better team.
Right.
That didn't happen tonight.
Right. And you look at the margin of victory. It means you were right there. You only lost the game by 4. By 4.
And don't forget, you were only down 1 point.
Yes.
Also, in that last juncture, those last few
Right.
possessions.
Now, in soccer, there's a thing we say that a 1-0 defeat is the hottest defeat because it's almost like
Ladies and gentlemen,
that team was only a goal better than you. If you lose by 10, 15, but you look at a game, you lost by 4 points. You look at Jackson, they lost by 2.
And you know what? And I was just about to say, even with the Jackson game, those are what you call stat games.
Right.
You go back and you look at certain statistics and you say, you know what? This is why we lost the game. The number one statistic that Fleming will look at is offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
Pembroke Pines probably had anywhere from 10 to 11 offensive rebounds that they scored off of. So you take those 10 offensive rebounds and you put that into numerics, that's 20 points. They only scored 52 points.
Right.
So guess what? That's where you look at and say, you know what? We should have controlled the glass
Right.
better, and we would not be in this situation right now.
And here's the thing. Jaleel Hills, being a junior, he's going to have to look back at this game and say, I will never have this happen to me in a game again. Awesome.
Jaleel's a freshman.
Jaleel, freshman, right.
Yes.
He's going to have to look back at himself and say, never again, because he's going to look back and say, hey, you know what? I should have done more for him.
And I said that earlier. He needs to make a commitment to get in the weight room all throughout the off season. He has a body frame where he may not be able to put a lot of weight on, but guess what? He needs to get stronger.
Right.
And with strength comes confidence also.
Right.
So I think as he gets stronger, he'll get more confident. Guess what? The dunk that he was barely hit off of it and he missed, he won't miss those next year if he commits to get in the weight room.
Not only that, once he gets in the weight room and he gets that strength and that confidence, there's no guard who's going to want to stand in front of him when he goes up.
Correct.
You just let it be
At all.
Catch him on the next play.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
But for Crawford, also, he still has another chance.
Yes, he does.
He has another chance, and he's going to look back at this season. He's going to want to replicate this season. He's going to want this game back.
Yeah, you get into that redemption season stuff, which is good. I mean, you always want that because those are solid motivators. So between the two of them and whoever the returners are, whoever Fleming gets over to help them, they're going to look at that and say, hey, this is a redemption season for us.
Yep.
We had a great season, fell short, but the goal until my career is over is to get the ring.
So, I want to say congratulations to Providence,
Correct?
having won a title.
Yes, they did.
The BK ladies.
BK ladies, listen. I text messaged one of my friends who's assistant coach on that team. This is what he told me. There are no seniors on that team. The whole team comes back.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Wow. No, that's huge.
That's huge.
That is huge.
Yes.
Of course, the BK boys, they made it
Yes.
to the Final Four, got knocked out at the semifinal stage, as did Impact.
Yes.
A team that we expected to see in the final, they got knocked out. Andrew Jacks, of course, got knocked out in the semifinals. San Jose ladies, they got knocked out semifinals. And Fleming Island, they made the final. So I don't think it's not been bad of a championship for the Jacksonville teams.
No, absolutely. For the state championship being here in Jacksonville, I think we represented very well.
Very well. And the crowds, they showed up.
Right. And then don't forget Bowles. Bowles girls are here too.
Bowles made it, right.
Yeah, they lost the championship.
Right.
So no, absolutely. I feel like this has become a home court for the Jacksonville faithful here, and I'm quite sure it's going to be the same way next year. Florida High School Association, along with University of North Florida, will learn from the experience they had here, do things even better next year. And I'm excited to be here. You know, the interesting part about this right here is Fleming walks off getting ready to go ahead and fold up their uniforms and get ready for next year. We're doing the same. That's it for us.
We're doing the same. Well, it's for in-season play, but you know, we got some All-Star games coming up. Where I think we have 2 All-Star games, North Florida All-Star games coming up. One this Sunday, I think one the following Sunday. So we still got some basketball to play. But you know, it was great. It was a great season. We did a whole lot more than we even planned on doing. But then that's basketball. It sucks you in.
Yes,
It's
it
a
does.
beautiful game. It sucks you in. You just want to be there. And you know, just to watch these high school athletes, to see their development, and to see, you know, especially to see like a Fleming Island make it to the Final Four. You know, these make the season all worth it for all the effort that we put in.
Feeling great, and guess what? We agree with you 100%. Yes, we're not hanging up our whistles just yet. We're going to keep pushing out, doing some All-Star games, and guess what? At some point in time, we'll have an opportunity to get into some AAU events and things of that nature.
Right.
We'll be going year-round.
Right. So, hey, want to say thanks to all of you who have supported SSB this season. Hey, keep watching the YouTube channel. Please keep subscribing, liking, comment, and share, because guess what? We'll be back next year. We're not done, but we'll be back next year. And the plan is to be
Bigger and
even
better.
harder.
Yes, sir.
Bigger, better, go harder. So, anything else?
That's all we got, man. It's just been a pleasure to be here, and we'll get prepared for the next event that we have.
Yes, sir. And hey, thanks for everything that you've done this season, man. I mean, you've really come on and you really elevated everything that we've planned on doing. And it's just been an absolute pleasure working with you. And I'm looking forward to just keeping it rolling.
Keeping it rolling, hey, year after year after year, brother. Yes, sir.
I want to say thanks to Scott Cooper.
Yes.
I know you've had it's been an interesting evening for you, my brother. But just know that we are with you. We support you all the way. You and your family. Take care of your business, and we get back at it again.
That's it. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. Oh, and I gotta mention Ron Jarrett was a part of the state championship broadcast last season. He's off somewhere having fun. But Ron, thank you, sir, to everybody else, Will Holloman, everybody who's been a part of this journey. Thank you. We look forward again, as we said, bigger and better.
And don't forget, we got the podcast going to be coming full swing on a regular basis, weekly, at the Players Grill.
At the Players Grill. All right. Well, hey, good night. Good evening, wherever you're watching from. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next season. Oh, no, you know what? We'll see you Sunday.
See you Sunday.
See you Sunday.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.